Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Dubois. I'm the co-founder and president of My Shop Assist. This video series is going to help you as a shop owner, or whether it be any particular role in the business, all the way up from the service manager, if you're a technician, a parts person, B2B wholesale, manufacturing accountant. I've put together this series so that way each person or role in the business has a resource they can go to learn how to do that position with our software, and then kind of how it's performed if it's something you have never done before, you're kind of learning. The software will work for a business that's just one person working out of their garage. That's how I got started, all the way up to if you have a very large business with departments and 30 plus employees, we can work with that as well. We have all the tools in place to work with big teams as well as small teams. The way we got started was 20 years ago, I started my shop, like 2005-ish, and I did a Mitsubishi Evo. So it's like a performance specialty shop. And around 2012, I had several employees and just had a really hard time managing the business. At the time, there was nothing that was cloud-based, easy to use, built around like custom fabrication, anything that is like canned stuff, like you'd get out of a labor guide for general repair. So we built MSA, and thankfully, we've had a lot of really great customers over the year that have provided very good feedback, in addition to what we learned running my shop as well. And so we've kind of rolled all these features and functionality and built it into not just a software to manage the shop, but it's really like a resource for controlling everything. And it really gives you some insight and direction into what you need, and not just kind of like using it to, track the projects you're working on. You can use it for a lot more. So let me kind of explain what it is as a whole, like as an umbrella, and then we can drill down into each different video depending on what type of role you have. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have this fancy little infographic that I threw together really quickly here. So think of the box in the middle as your shop. So every shop, depending on how big you are, well, really any shop, no matter what size, is going to have a lot of really core functions that you have to perform. So you're going to have an owner manager, every shop does. Maybe you have a service manager. Maybe the owner or the manager is that same person. Maybe you have a parts person. Again, if it's a one-person shop, you're going to be doing all these yourself. But if you have a parts-specific person, there's a whole workflow around that. Production build leads. Maybe you manufacture parts. If you do nothing but manufacturing, we can handle that. You'll know a lot of performance shops, they start by working on cars, and then they see a niche for a product that should be improved upon or doesn't exist, and so they start making it themselves. And so you're kind of a hybrid. You work on cars and you manufacture products. Or maybe you sell stuff to other shops and you do some B2B or wholesale or even web sales retail. And so we have a lot of tools for that as well. And then the technicians, people actually doing most of the work. This obviously the software is built around that to start with, and then we built all the tools around it. And then you have an accountant, which is, again, if you're an owner operator, you're going to be learning all this stuff on your own with QuickBooks or integration or Xero or whatever it might be. Or if you have a specific accountant that works for you, this is going to have a resource for them to look at to see how they can use MSA to work with the QuickBooks and how they do their accounting system. So this is your shop, but the software is more than just a tool for your shop, right? So like everybody who owns a business already knows that you are very dependent on a lot of other people, not just people inside of your building. So again, accounting. So QuickBooks Online, Desktop, Xero, all that sort of stuff, most accountants require it or want you to use it. So we, of course, interact with it very, very well. So that's kind of like an example of like your shop does need to work with other stuff, so we make the software do it for you. Another one up here is going to be your web store. Most performance shops are going to want a website as well, right? So that's not like physically in their building, but it's a website they have to represent their brand, maybe to sell some products, maybe to give their customers a way to communicate with them. We built the tools to do that, right? So we have a job form integration, so you can put a form for customers to fill out, put it on your web store so they can contact you. We can sync our parts, and we can take the orders from the web store back into our system. So there's a two-way communication with your web store. We've made sure that that tool, that piece of your business is also integrated, and we make it easy to do. So we work with a couple of them: Shopify, WooCommerce. Those both are the primary ones that people use. And then customer communications. Every customer wants to get a hold of you a different way, right? So text message, I think, is probably the most common now. It's easiest for people to work with. And email is another really important one. And of course, the job form is on there. And so we have SMS, two-way text messaging built in. And we don't limit it to canned messages. We let you full on a multimedia message. You can send pictures back and forth. You can send payment requests, and you can send email updates, photos, links to their login so they can view the jobs online. So all that stuff is built in. This one is very unique to, I think, our software. We look at the performance world as not just a single business, but we are kind of a community. What I say by that is when I work on Mitsubishi Evos, I buy parts from a lot of suppliers. And a lot of these guys are small like me, very small shops. They manufacture some very specific parts that customers that have these cars know about. Well, we wanted to be able to connect all those people together. So I do not have to constantly harass, the other guy who makes a different part. Hey, can I order those from you? How long is it going to take? How do I order from you? Do I send you an email? Are you ever going to give me shipping? All that stuff takes an enormous amount of time. And it's very annoying when you have lots of vendors like that. And that's basically every performance shop. And so we have built in a B2B system so that way I can list the products I make. So flex fuel kits, oil filter housings, power steering hoses. I can list them. And then other MSA users can connect to me and they can order directly through my system with real-time pricing and inventory. And so it makes it super easy for the industry as a whole to share the information and move, like be able to purchase and buy and quote and estimate and all that sort of stuff can be done without having to jump from software to software or call people or email it. And then that just takes an enormous amount of time. And we've built it all into here. If you come from the general repair industry, you'll know a lot of the parts ordering is already built in, but like the performance side is we're just, a decade behind on this. And we are building out the system to do it. It is different. It does not work like general repair. General repair has a lot of year, make, model searches. Most performance parts do not. And so there's different ways of handling that, and we have the answer to it. And I invite everybody who makes parts or wants to sell parts they buy and want to resell, that you can set yourself up on MSA to share to the other users of our system. So that's just kind of the vision. The vision is looking at your shop as a whole and then making sure we pull in all the different branches of your business into one so that you can manage everything from inside of MSA. And it just becomes the most powerful tool that you can have at the shop. I welcome you to check out the different videos on specific roles. And I want to thank you for checking out our software. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you for that as well.